It seemed like it was just a few days ago on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Todd Pinkney, one of our P1s who came to our Seattle Kraken expansion draft watch party the other night, asks if Monty the Squirrel's going to use the lawnmower 4.0 to trim his nuts. I was thinking more, how about that? But
How about that?
it's not an unreasonable question.
No, it is not.
Monty the Squirrel. Can we get that done up by the end of the show? And I'm in favor of your mom sewing the costume this time.
You are?
Yes.
Are you watching?
Paula?
She's probably watching.
What's going on back here? They're all laughing back there.
Because then you paused. And I was like, this in favor of her? What?
I know. I heard them bust out laughing. I'm like, what are you?
And then you sewing the costume, and it's like, just disarmed me. I'm like, okay, we're good. She can sew the costume.
I'm in favor of your mom.
What? Say it. Say it.
Stay tuned, sit back, enjoy. Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Do you believe in sports curses? Mike White, who's supposed to be the next big thing with the Jets, goes down in the first quarter, but they're saying there's got to be a curse on the Jets. And our question to you, the viewers, is do you believe in sports curses? Can't make up my mind whether I believe in them or not. Because on one hand, I say the harder you work, the luckier you get. But on the other hand, I'm very spiritual and believe there's a plan and all the rest, so I don't know.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Happy Monday, Canada. Welcome to your favorite sports talk show, the RP Show. Episode number 627. Hope you're having a good Monday so far. I can tell you for us, it has been a day so far. But it's all good because we're on the air and we're live from South Florida. And before we bring in our guests and give you a little bit of a roadmap of what we're doing for the program, let's bring in the Moose back in the Bermuda Triangle of the National Hockey League, Darren Moose Dupont. As I told the viewers, Moose, it's been a day. We probably don't want to jinx it by telling them so how much, but we've had some technical issues. But it looks like we are taking flight and we're good. And why don't you talk for a while I bring up the sponsors list for this morning and tell me how your day's going so far, if you don't mind.
You know what? The day is actually going okay. I'm finding out, though, that there is a lot more time in the morning when you're a little bit further east than on the West Coast. Everything happens really quickly when the show's on the air at 9 a.m. So the 11 a.m. start out here, noon Eastern, is a little bit easier, even though it's the same. But no, adjusted. We're good. And we're in the air. The flight is off the ground, so we're sailing. We're good.
It's good. Yeah. Please, don't unbuckle just yet. Wait till you hear from the captain. But before we get into the weekend photo album and the quick 6 show topics, which are going to be spicy, here's one for you. And you're going to see some of my weekend in the photo album here. But a guy that's a manager of a restaurant here in South Florida, let's just call him Thad, came up to me Friday night and he said, Rod, here's the deal. I'm not the biggest football guy, so you lose me a little bit there. And when you talk CFL, I'm sorry, but I'm out. The palm trees look great, and it's all great, but I'm there to watch the hockey, man. And just telling you. And I'm like, Thad, I'm not upset. That we want the feedback, right, Moose? That's what we want. But he's another South Florida, East Coast guy that is here for the hockey. But listen, we have a little bit of everything in the quick 6 show topics, which we'll get to in a moment. But first, let's just have a look at the Great Western Weekend Photo Album brought to you by Great Western Brewing Company. If you don't mind, Great Western, extra smooth, extra refreshing. Find Original 16 at a store near you today. That was Outback Steakhouse. Grand opening that we're invited to. As they say in the restaurant industry, it was a soft launch, Moose, but I just want to say thanks to Debbie and the crew at Outback Steakhouse. They put on the CFL Eastern Final for me, and our server, Matt, said, boy, I didn't know Canadian had a football league. That's a direct quote from Matt, the server. So I just want to say Thank you. So I was able to watch the Argos and the Ticats from there, enjoying a steak, ribs, chicken, all the rest. This was Saturday. It was the annual kids game for the Panthers, and Spencer Knight did not start, but I was down in the suicide box, as you call it, between the benches, which I guess the area which Pierre Maguire made famous. I took that photo of Spencer Knight, and I just wanted to put it on the weekend photo album. So that was fun. Those are my photos. Do you want to explain, Darren?
Yeah, this is a little behind the scenes. This is where we did the show on campus at Trinity Western on the first day. That beautiful shot. It's a beautiful place to be. I mean, the campus is gorgeous. Did a whole walk around. But that was the gymnasium where we did the show on day one, all decorated for Christmas trees inside. That's cool. Keep these rolling. There's the two Olympians, Nat and Allison. I actually watched the hockey game with them on Thursday night. We went to the hockey game together, the three of us, and got to know each other really well. Really two great people doing wonderful things. So it was really great to build those connections. We're following each other on social. And then Saturday, I took a ferry ride out to Bowen Island and hooked up with Jim Mullen, the president of Football Canada. We shot this from his deck, okay? He's got a very beautiful spot right on the water. So that was really cool. His partner, Kia, made us appetizers. I mean, bacon-wrapped scallops. We had chicken wings, nachos. Nice. And watched the Vanier Cup. So she treated us well. All we had to do was clean up, and it was great to see Jim. And then on the ride home, I met this guy. It's Colton from Vancouver, from the Lower Mainland area. He was going to Europe, but he's a young kid, 20, doing his electrical license to be an electrician, but he records music. And I thought this was really cool. He just put his stuff on Spotify, and the guy's getting 250,000 listens. And he's like, yeah, I might do it, I might not, but had a really good conversation with him, and I think we're going to stay in touch. So that was a fun end to the week on the West Coast.
Beauty. There's the Great Western Photo Album. Now let's get to the sports coming up on the program today. Longtime NHLer, former Pittsburgh Penguin and Tampa Bay Lightning, Ryan Malone. He's in hour one. And in hour two, 3downnation.com CFL Insider Justin Dunk. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan? Thank you. We got that working today. We're going to start with hockey today. We're not going to go through Sunday night's results because there's been news since. The Vancouver Canucks have dismissed head coach Travis Green and replaced him with Bruce Boudreau, Gabby, as they call him. The team confirmed the news in a statement late Sunday night, saying assistant coach Nolan Baumgartner, general manager Jim Benning, and assistant manager Jim Weisbrod have all been relieved of their duties. Scott Walker was named assistant coach. The changes came after the Pittsburgh Penguins routed the Canucks 4-1 Saturday night, drawing boos from the crowd. The Canucks currently sit last in the Pacific Division at 8-15-2. But we're not done there. Philadelphia this morning. Flyers fired coach Alain Vigneault following 8 straight losses, too shy of matching a team record of 10 in a row. I caught them when they came through here last Wednesday and lost to the Florida Panthers. They worked hard. They're just not that good. They've been one of the NHL's biggest flops of the season. Their latest loss was a 7-1 defeat by Tampa Bay last night. That sealed AV's fate, obviously, Moose. He lasted just 2+ seasons in Philly. Never could lead the Flyers in the right direction this year after a promising first season in which he led the team to the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, as you recall, in the NHL's restart bubble. How ironic is this? They had a deep playoff run in the bubble in Toronto, the Flyers. The Canucks did too in Edmonton with Travis Green. And today, both those coaches are looking for work elsewhere. And I saw on Twitter this morning that the Canucks are desirous potentially of Mark Bergevin to be their next general manager, which obviously brought a lot of scorn from their own fans and fans of other teams. But anyways, a couple firings there. I don't know what to say other than our poll question today is, for Capital Auto Mall, Universal Collision Center, which team which has made off-ice moves will turn it around the fastest? Montreal Canadiens, Philadelphia Flyers, or Vancouver Canucks? And what do we got? I tweeted it. Philadelphia, they're saying, with 53% of the vote. Like I said, I watched. What is it? Philly's winning on YouTube too? Yeah, Clark tells me 42% there. So I saw Philly last week, and like I say, they were playing terribly. They know hockey in Philly. The Flyers, they do. They were playing dreadful defense. They can't score any goals. And I guess they've pointed the finger at Alain Vigneault as the reason why. And you and I watched Vancouver live on opening night in Edmonton, and I sat there going, They're just not that good. And it was funny because the Edmonton media, if you remember after that game, which the Oilers won in overtime, was that overtime or a shootout? Either way, it was extra time. The media was patting Vancouver on the head going, good for Vancouver. They kept it close into the second period with the Oilers. I don't know how there seems to be talent there, but they haven't put it together all season long, and firings. Anyways, I want to move on to point 2 from there. William Lagesson has done defenseman for the Edmonton Oilers. If I can say it nicely, a bubble player for the Edmonton Oilers, William Lagesson. So much of a bubble player, I'm not even sure if I'm saying his name right. But his agent went on Twitter, Alan Walsh, the always loquacious agent Alan Walsh, who also represents Marc-Andre Fleury. He tweeted this: Oilers defenseman William Lagesson had his best game in the NHL Friday night. What happens? Dave Tippett never told him he's out Saturday night, didn't tell him to skate with the scratches. He finds out just before the game. It's kind of disrespect from a coach that it's the kind of disrespect from a coach that destroys teams. That's from the agent of the player. You asked, and some of the viewers, for my take on that. Here, initially, my thought was this, Darren. You might be surprised because I had a little time to think about this. Initially, I thought, Alan, shut up again and let Tippett coach the team. Similarly to the Golden Knights, shut up, Alan, let Peter DeBoer coach the team. But is Alan Walsh necessarily wrong? You know that I'm a big Dave Tippett fan, and the Oilers are about my number 3 team in the NHL. A player came to me, and I think you know this story, about a month ago, and his dad. Yeah. And that player had been benched by his team. And after the game, the player couldn't figure out why. And the player said to me, do you have any idea why I'd be benched? I said, no, actually, I thought you played great. I have no idea.
Yeah.
The next day, the player asked for a meeting with the coaching staff. They went through the video, and the coach subsequently apologized and said, no, you had a great game. I apologize for benching you. And then the dad called me and said that this had happened, and I was absolutely flabbergasted and blown away. As a matter of fact, initially, the dad said to me, my son's going to demand a meeting with the coaches. And I said, I would not go that far. Do you remember the incident? I think I remember telling you about this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the team. I'm not going to say the league, but this happened. So where I'm in the agent, initially I would tell the agent to shut up and let Dave Tippett coach the team. But on the flip side, maybe that player deserved an explanation as to why he was being scratched. There's my take. What's yours?
Yeah, I'm with you. And with let the coach the team. I mean, to go right to the public, it doesn't work. It's a little bit like, okay, what's your role here, right? I mean, I get it from an agent perspective, protecting the players, and that's why the players love you. You got their back. But, you know, you're going to end up having some players that are going to be Colin Kaepernicks, really talented, right? Can probably play, might be able to be a starter in the NFL over a lot of quarterbacks that are playing right now and struggling, but the distraction just outweighs any positive. The negative outweighs any positive, you know, just being a distraction. And now this is in the locker room, and now how do you really coach the team wondering, okay, well, what's the agent going to say? You know, why don't you tell me how I'm supposed to scratch players or not scratch players? Like, it becomes really, really difficult. And to be honest, a tweet like that is more of a distraction to the team than the actual handling of whether he's in the lineup or out of the lineup. If he's a fringe player, he knows he's not guaranteed a spot in the lineup or not. Doesn't matter how good he plays or doesn't play. You know, and that's the idea of pro sports, and it mimics life. The best players don't always play, right? The best players don't always win. That's why you have people in place doing jobs like this. So, yeah, I didn't like it. I hate it. I hate whining.
Through all of that, not preamble, let's call it a ramble, I picked up one nugget from you.
Okay.
And that is that they should never have gone public with that. Because in the incident that I'm talking about with the player and the team, that never got public. And even today, it's getting public by me saying it, but I'm not saying what the team is or the league, so nobody would know.
Yeah.
So this, if it had stayed internal and the player had addressed Dave Tippett and asked for a meeting, maybe they would have all dealt with it. Tippett probably wouldn't have apologized like the coach in my story, but nobody would know.
Yeah.
So what causes problems is what Alan Walsh did, not what Dave Tippett did.
Right.
Anyways, moving on. Point 3, CFL divisional finals. How about that? Like here's what's coming up in the Quick Six show topics here in the warm-up, by the way. CFL division finals, Vanier Cup, NFL Week 13, NLL Week 1. the fight in the crowd at BMO Field yesterday. So I'm at Outback Steakhouse, Lighthouse Point, Florida, trying to keep my mind on one thing. Now, they did have the Dolphins game on over here beside it, the CFL games, so I was able to watch 2 games at once. But in the CFL, the Grey Cup matchup is now set. As we all know, it'll look a lot like the last one. The defending champion Winnipeg Blue Bombers will face the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the Canadian Football League Championship, which Winnipeg won, by the way, 33-12. It hasn't been for 2 years, but the Bombers booked their spot in this year's title game by beating the Saskatchewan Roughriders 21-17 at Investors Group Field in Winnipeg. Hamilton defeated Toronto in the East Final 27-19. I had to write down these scores because I had a million scores going through my head. Checking to see how much time. Well, we got a lot of time here for these CFL games. So they were good. Like, look, think about it this way. From a guy watching from gorgeous South Florida. Cold. But the stands were full in Toronto. The stands were full in Winnipeg. The games had a lot of intrigue and drama. They were largely close. Hamilton was being shut out in the first half in Toronto. They make the quarterback change. They come back and win. Big plays. Questionable calls. That's the Toronto-Hamilton game. Hamilton comes back, roaring back in the second half and wins it, and they're going to play in their stadium at home. Bob's your uncle. And then in the West game, I'm home watching that, and I'm like, you're kidding me, right? Winnipeg clearly does not want to win this game. 6 turnovers to Saskatchewan's 2, and the Riders were only leading 10-7 at halftime. What's going on here? And, of course, all it does is prove to you how good of a team Winnipeg is, that they can survive losing the turnover battle 6-2 in a playoff game there in a divisional final where everything's magnified. 1 turnover can decide a game in a game like that. And they lost 6-2 in the turnover battle, and they still won. They did it because they bullied the Riders on the line of scrimmage. They harassed Cody Fajardo. They made enough big plays to win the game. And away we go. Winnipeg, Hamilton, a Grey Cup rematch, which, dare I say, is the best thing for the CFL, I think, from a story standpoint. Grey Cup rematches are always fun. That's my take on Division Final Sunday. Yours?
Yeah, a lot to digest here. The first is that matchup, Hamilton-Winnipeg. If you had said this at the beginning of the year, we're going to have a December Grey Cup. It's going to be in Hamilton, and it's going to feature the Tiger Cats and the Blue Bombers. I'd have said that's pretty predictable, right? We all thought, Hamilton was going to mow through everybody, and we thought Winnipeg was going to be pretty good too. We thought maybe Hamilton would be the best team in the CFL, and Winnipeg would be the second best team, probably the best team out west, and pretty good chance they're going to meet in the Grey Cup again, or they've both got a good shot. The road that they each took to get here, that's the story, especially for Hamilton. That's what made it so intriguing and exciting. But you look at both of these, games, and I look at the Toronto Argonauts and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. You talk about the 6 turnovers, 3 Zach Caleros interceptions in the first quarter, and then the missed opportunities for Toronto. They both left so much on the table and had opportunities to win, and they're both going to have painstakingly, like excruciating hours watching the game film. You look at Boris Beattie, 4 field goals early in that football game, 2 of them inside the 15-yard line. So, they left touchdowns off the board that were gifted to them, turnovers, and then obviously not capitalizing on 6 turnovers. The Riders only having 10 points on the board at halftime. Just, leaving it on the table because that it was there for you for the taking. So both those teams will be disappointed waking up this morning.
So we're going to bring in the viewers. Brand new week means it's wide open again for our Taco Time comment of the week from the viewers from the Rod Squad. Best comment of the week will win a $50 gift card to our friends from Taco Time. I see people are talking in the comment section about the CFL, the NHL. Not a lot of college or NFL, but we're about to get to that. I like this one from C. Walker watching on YouTube. Says, the Bombers are so good that even the Bombers can't beat the Bombers. That's funny. They couldn't even beat themselves, and they really tried, dang it. So anyways, tell your friends we're live on a Monday with episode number 627 of Canada's daytime sports talk show on the Game Plus television network. We're streaming live on YouTube, and we'll be right back where you can listen live as well, 24/7 at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming at the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might sprain your wrist, or even fracture it. A severe wrist fracture can take at least 2 months to heal properly. And it can cause you to develop arthritis that keeps you from doing something as simple as picking up your child without pain. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody. RP Show continues. We're like halfway through the Quick Six Show topics here today. There's a lot going on, and I want to tell you that the text line is open. You can always write us. The number's on the screen, 902-518-3033. Now that Moose is back in the sweatpants capital, I'm sure that he'll get on that jingle. He's been traveling all over the place. Yes. I'm sure. We're going to have it soon, Moose?
Yeah, I keep saying soon, so that's all I can do is just tell you soon. And
you get a lot of things.
Yeah.
You get a lot of things on the go. But on the text line, Ray in Scarborough, Ontario, watching on Game Plus TV, writes in and says, hey, Rod, what a weekend. Started with some junior hockey Friday night. On Saturday afternoon, some Vanier Cup, followed by some Toronto Rock and the NLL on Saturday night. CFL Eastern Final Sunday afternoon, then watched my Leafs lose to the Jets Sunday and finish it off with the Bills and the Pats tonight. Hope your weekend was as good as mine. Signed, Ray. That's a great sports weekend right there. And, well, we've lined up most of it. I'm trying to limit my sports watching to one live game. Listen, I could have gone to the Dolphins game yesterday. Yeah. They had the Giants here. They did win their 6th in a row, but but I was trying to narrow my focus down to watching 6 hours of CFL football, and because I knew we'd be talking about it today, and I was successful in doing that. But here's a great comment from Craig in Calgary. Big supporter of ours. And he writes in on the text line, the 902. He says, hey, Rod, the field conditions at the Vanier Cup and in Winnipeg, CFL geezer fans' mentality that weather-affected football is somehow the Canadian game is part of what is killing this league. That and the insistence that playing 80-year-old fight songs and Mustang Sally constitute in-game entertainment. You've got to be kidding me. Signed, Craig in Calgary. Troy writes in from Cochrane, Alberta. He's watching on Game Plus TV and says, hi, Rod and Moose. What were your thoughts on the post-game scuffle between Chris Edwards and the Ticats fan? Looked brutal on both sides. There's so much there to get to. There's so much there to get to. My cousin Christine, I just want to point this out. She's watching in Medicine Hat. And she's written with the Raptors score from last night. And I say, thank you, Chris, for getting... You're Western Canada's biggest Raptors PR person because the Raptors aren't even anywhere near my radar. Not even. Don't come at me with a Raptor. And she goes on to say, I'm just thrilled the CFL is alive and well during the pandemic. Well, we'll see whether it is or not. But at 8:49 Eastern last night, I got an email from the CFL saying the Grey Cup in Hamilton is officially sold out. So it took the Ticats winning to sell it out, which is awesome. I don't know what the attendance is going to be. It's normally 24,000 at Tim Hortons Field, but the email said they've opened up the end zone. They're selling 500 more standing room tickets, and Bob's your uncle, and let's go.
Awesome.
Sorry, Moose, that I'm getting so long-winded here, but you know how it is. So on the field conditions, Vanier Cup, watched it Saturday while I was watching the Blues and the Panthers here in Sunrise, Florida. The Western Mustangs, who reside in London, Ontario, are celebrating their second Vanier Cup title in the last 4 years. Western overcame cold, icy conditions in Quebec City in a 27-21 victory over Saskatchewan in men's university football. And that was bad. That was really bad. The guys were slipping all over the place. I made that comment that football was not meant to be played in these conditions, and people took that to mean that it was an excuse for the Huskies. Wasn't what I meant. Wasn't making any excuses for anybody. Western played better, and had they played the game inside, Western still probably would have won. The point was it ruined the game and didn't allow these athletes to show off their skills. Winnipeg wasn't much better. You watched the game, but when the Hamilton receiver was at Lawler, Kenny the King Lawler, whoever, or Rashid, fumbled at the one, and the Riders' Eli Boca scooped it up at the goal line. He ran like he had broom ball shoes on. And our American viewers are like, what? He was running like he had those 3-inch destroyer cleats on, just whomp, whomp, whomp. No problems on the ice in Winnipeg for Eli Boca. But I guess my point is I'm giving them all a pass because COVID forced us to play December championship games. It's nobody's fault. What I'm saying is this is ruining the games. And I'll get to that fan fight in a moment. But it's not a criticism of anybody.
No, it's not.
But it took away from the enjoyment of the game for me.
Yeah, I agree. Same thing. You know, I'm seeing guys getting handoffs in the backfield and slipping and falling, and they have to take a 3-yard loss. You know, I'm seeing, quarterbacks on both sides can't get the proper footing, so they can't get enough behind the football, and it's underthrown. And there was plays to be made on both sides. Did it affect the outcome? Maybe, maybe not. I'm talking about the Vanier Cup or the West Final. But, I do enjoy the weather when it plays a factor. I do. I think that's part of it. I do. But there are lines. Like when the field when you can't get footing. Like it's nice having the snow globe. We've seen snow globe games where the footing's not an issue. We've seen rain games where you can still make plays. I understand elements. But when the footing can't be, taken care of and you're having guys slipping and it's becoming sloppy, that's a huge problem. And you have to have ways to fix it.
8 turnovers in the Winnipeg Saskatchewan game. How could you enjoy that? How could you enjoy that?
I know. That's tough. You still want them to make plays. So what are you saying?
You like it or you don't like it?
I like it to a point. I don't know what you're going to do as a league or somebody managing the field to protect you from that. Do you just go all dome stadiums and say forget about it? Maybe.
In the case of the Vanier Cup, yes. CFL is a little bit of a different story. But, I mean, I'm sitting with my American friends on the weekend, and they're like, how many dome stadiums are in Canada? I'm like, if you can believe, just 3. Think about that.
Yeah.
Just think about that for the weather. We have 3 dome stadiums in Canada, that's it. Montreal, Vancouver, and Toronto. Should be more when you think about it. And for the Vanier Cup, what was the attendance at Laval the other night? 5, 6, 7,000? I never heard. Yeah, Dunk would know. You could play that in a smaller venue. You could never play a Grey Cup, which habitually gets around 60,000 fans a game. You could never play that in anywhere other than a huge outdoor stadium, but you could play the Vanier in a smaller one.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's my take. It ruined my enjoyment of the game, and I felt sorry for those guys, the players, and the coaches. And Milt Stegall said it all on the panel. He didn't even know he was saying it. Milt Stegall, the CFL panel, was saying, it sucks so much to get hit in the cold. It sucks to get hit at all, but in the cold, it's even worse. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, so why are we doing this? But it's because of COVID, so we'll give it a pass. I'm going to come back on that. I just wanted to mention the NLL. Got to write the NLL down because it opened. We're big NLL fans here. You're a Saskatchewan Rush broadcaster. Reese Duke scored 3 goals, and Eric Fannell netted the overtime winner to lead the Halifax Thunderbirds to a 12-11 victory over the Saskatchewan Rush Saturday night in the first game of the season, the NLL season for both teams. 4 different players scored hat tricks as the Buffalo Bandits overpowered the Calgary Roughnecks 16-9, also Saturday night. Tom Schreiber scored 4 times and added an assist in the Toronto Rock's season-opening 10-9 win against the Albany Firewolves Saturday. And Friday night, it all got going when Mitch Jones scored 5 times as the Vancouver Warriors edged the San Diego Seals 8-7 to open the NLL season. That was Friday night. Boy, we got a lot to get to here. College football. A fun thing to do this season has to ponder how the Canadian football playoff race would have played out if expansion to 12 teams had already happened. It hasn't yet. College football playoff selection committee set the 4-team field on Sunday, matching top-seeded Alabama against number 4 Cincinnati in one semifinal and a second-seeded Michigan against number 3 Georgia in the other. The committee ranks 25 teams to help fill out the lineup for some of the other marquee bowl games, too. In the 12-team playoff model proposed earlier this year and still being debated, a selection committee would still have a role, but it would be less impactful because it would place more emphasis on winning a conference. So saying it again, my Alabama Crimson Tide against your Michigan, against Cincinnati, and Michigan against Georgia in the other. So that's something to watch here over the holiday season.
It's super exciting, and we might be looking towards an Alabama-Michigan national championship. Could you imagine, back in the, earlier on in the year when we were picking college teams, I mean, you already had yours, that we could potentially have chosen the 2 finalists for the national title. I mean, it's awesome. I do have a huge issue with Georgia being in the college football playoff. A huge issue with it. I don't think Georgia belongs.
You only lost once, Aaron.
Right, but they lost in what's essentially a playoff game. They lost in the SEC championship game. That was their playoff game. Yeah, it's not the college football playoff, but you want an expanded playoff. That's basically it. That's why I wouldn't put Ohio State, in it, because they just lost to Michigan 2 weeks ago. Give it to Notre Dame. Give it to Baylor. Give it to somebody else, even if they're not as good. Georgia already had their shot to be in there. They played Alabama. And if they play Alabama again, it's just going to be like, what for, right? I don't like that idea of losing a championship game on the final week of the season and then still being having an opportunity to get into the college football playoff. Even if it was your only loss of the year, it came in a championship. So that's the flawed playoff for me. That's the flawed system.
The viewers are going to be hearing a lot of that over the Christmas holidays here. We got a couple minutes left. Viewers writing in on the NLL, CFL. Bob Jericho on YouTube says, Fajardo's got to go. It's painful to watch. You know that it's only 24 hours since their loss, so people are going to be very upset. Still, in the Rider Nation, there's stuff going back and forth about steroid use. Listen, both teams have players that are guilty of it, so don't add us. And let me just say this. I think we only got 2 minutes left in this segment. Ryan Malone joins us, NHL veteran, next, Penguin and Lightning. And then we'll debate far more of this to start hour 2 with Moose. But the fan incident that happened in Toronto after the game. Watch the video. Chris Edwards, longtime CFL defensive back, never been a problem, starting the lawnmower on a Ticats fan. The video's out there, all of the video. It's not a big deal. You saw players scaling from the Toronto Argonauts, scaling the fence to go join the fray. Dejan Brissett, who's a friend of this show, number 2 overall pick by the Argos, Toronto kid, he jumps there, and I'm like, oh boy, this is looking like a scene from Slapshot. As we finds out later, he was trying to play the role of peacemaker. If you look at the video, the Ticat fan, clearly the aggressor. The guy with the Ticat flag tying around his neck, who was into Grandpa's cough medicine. Nobody is going to hold the Argos responsible here. Shouldn't anyways. Initially, I didn't see any security around, and then I saw a video from the backside. There was tons of security. They were all at the Argo locker room. Come on. I'm not holding the Argos responsible. I'm not holding the CFL nor the security responsible. I'm holding the idiot fan responsible that supposedly threw a beer at the guy. That caused Chris Edwards to come after him. The players should not have to put up with it. It's not pay your ticket and do whatever the hell you want. It's not. It's pay for your ticket, watch the game, and go home. Don't act like an asshole. So he deserved everything. I wish he would have got more. I really do. And I think a lot of people agree with me. No, the players don't have to put up with whatever comes their way. That's junk. People feel that way. They're wrong. Anyways, we don't have time for your take, but we'll get it later, okay?
How about that?
Okay. Sounds good.
Ryan Bugsy Malone joins us next. You're watching Canada's daytime sports talk show, the RP Show on the Game Plus television network, YouTube live streaming, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives, focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. It makes individuals and the people who love them feel powerless. But the good news is that addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery, with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center. Recovery for life. Visit AuroraRecoveryCenter.com for more information today.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. The studio is in South Florida. I was going to say sunny South Florida, but it's not sunny. Still beautiful, though. Hey, Ryan Malone played 647 National Hockey League games with the Penguins and the Lightning, and there's a reason he's with us today as we continue to talk about Robert Morris University and their hockey program, and a lot of things to get to with Bugsy Malone. But you just saw, Bugsy, us talking about the fan fight incident in the CFL game in Toronto yesterday. And I want to ask you, in your years in the NHL, St. Cloud State, Iowa Wild, Hartford Wolfpack, ever chuck the Nucks with some fans or get into it? What do you remember?
No. I figured I've heard quite a few stories. If you do break someone's face, it's not a good thing legally. So on the ice, it's okay, but I know, and that's one reason you get into jiu-jitsu, and it's a lot safer just to choke someone out and put them to sleep than
How about
hurt them
that?
physically. That's the
Yeah,
that's the way
fair
I'm
enough.
looking
What?
at it.
But in all your wars, bad question, I guess. No, you never punched anybody like the Argo player took a swing. But I mean, there must have been some nights where, the fans are into it a little bit, and you had some incidents.
Yeah, especially in Philly. I mean, it's great. I mean, I enjoyed it, having the beard spilled on us and them just going crazy. You have the 5-year-old giving us the middle finger, and it didn't really push me to the point of going off. They're the fans, and I always enjoyed that about, I think, the hockey atmosphere, to have a little bit of that craziness going on.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, it's always Philly. I haven't been, but I got to put it on the list because everybody brings up Philly. And speaking of, Vancouver Canucks make a coaching change last night. They fired Travis Green. Then this morning, the Flyers followed up with Alain Vigneault. How closely are you following this? I don't know how many people had Travis Green being the first coach fired in the NHL, but he was. Thoughts on these moves?
Yeah, I mean, you as a player, you definitely, after a coach gets fired, you have to, you're accountable also for that. And sometimes after a few years, obviously the same voice, it's kind of repetitive, and you kind of lose that locker room a little bit. But ultimately, it comes down to the players buying in and getting on the same page and wanting to do it for each other.
I got one for you, too, before we talk about that Robert Morris thing and your fundraising effort. So Hockey Canada has not revealed its roster yet for the Olympics. Sidney Crosby, if you've probably seen, has said that he'd be okay whether he's on or he's not. You know, Sid, you've played with him. Doug Armstrong, the general manager of Team Canada, was here in Sunrise the other night. I ate beside him in the media room. I was going to go ask him and say, "Psst, what's up with Sid?" But I didn't. Do you think he should be on the team? Maybe it's a dumb question, but do you think there's any chance he wouldn't be on Team Canada, Ryan, at his advanced age?
I don't think so. I mean, geez, come on. Yeah, you tell me you can't find a spot for Crosby on your team. Look what he's. I mean, he has. I mean, look at everything he's done. I think it's just kind of a silly question, actually. So, sorry about it.
Well, he was asked about it, and he said, "I'd be okay if I'm not." That's all that I'm saying. Now, okay. Furthermore, because you care little for Team Canada, how about Team USA? Off the top of your head, who should be the goalies for Team USA in the Olympics?
Oh, geez. I like Gibson. It's a guy that I think with maybe a better supporting cast has been known to steal some wins down there. And he's the guy that comes just to the top of my head right now.
Yep. He was the first guy that I thought of, too, John Gibson of the Anaheim Ducks. But Spencer Knight, this kid down the road here with the Florida Panthers, of course, backstopped the U.S. to World Junior Gold last year. So, you know what? Always good to have choices. Bugsy.
Yeah, Gibson's a Pittsburgh guy, too, I believe.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Been around a long time and done great things in Anaheim. Yeah. What's up in your world, Bugsy? How's the fundraising going for Robert Morris University's hockey
fundraising
programs?
Has been going great, and then we really picked up a lot of momentum. We had a meeting with the board at RMU. They were quite surprised. In the last 4 months, we've raised over $2.3 million with pledges and cash in hand. So we're $500,000 away from supposedly our goal of getting that to around December 15th. So we had some fun back in Pittsburgh. You got some guys together, some Steelers and Pirates, brought the on the bench crew down, did some old time hockey to kind of do this final rally to, at the time it was 700,000, which we've been saying we're down goals, not money. So now we're only down like 500,000 goals. So we're asking everyone to be part of the greatest comeback in sports history. So if you buy in, you can get a reward and something for your hard-earned money. And that's kind of where in the background here, I got my American people. I have a USA jersey in there. If you bid, we're looking on the price points, but if you put in $50 to buy in, you could have a chance to win this Olympic jersey. It's got the home of the Brave on it. On the sleeves, just like the real jerseys. Gets bad camera work there. But then underneath those, I got a nice pair of hockey skates someone gave me when I made the team that actually fit my cankles as well. And they call them Ace. So Mario Lemieux skates will also be in on this auction. It's not really an auction, it's chip in. So when you do chip in, you'll have a chance to win these for $100. So you chip in $100, you'll have a chance to win a pair of Mario Lemieux skates. And if you want me to sign them, I can sign them too, but I thought that might bring the value down. So
are you saying
we have
somebody with fat ankles should throw some change down on the on this? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no, I'm saying if we look at, we can do a closer picture, but they're custom skates, and at the time coming from college, St. Cloud, we never had custom skates before. So Mario had a bunch of pairs laying around. He's like, "Oh, Bugsy, try these on," and they ended up fitting like great. So I ended up wearing them, and they've been in my garage. And the purpose of this Pittsburgh Hockey Foundation is to grow college hockey in Pittsburgh. And right now, RMU's men's and women's teams need to be reinstated, and they're the only Division I programs around at the moment. So our first mission is to help reinstate these programs by creating awareness and these cool items. And everyone in this rally video, Brett Kiesel from the Steelers, Sean Swissam, the kicker, has some items, Neil Walker from the Pirates. So we got some different items and giveaways. Iron City Light was a sponsor, Iron City Beer. I remember my dad on the beer cans back in the 80s. They were a great help. The 412 clothing people, everyone in Pittsburgh has really reached out. It's been overwhelming, the support for these programs in the Pittsburgh College Hockey Foundation. So today we're going to launch a little trailer video to create some more noise and create some buzz about it, and hopefully we can reach our goal together.
Well, Bugsy, next time we come on, once you're successful and you reach your goal, we'll talk a little more. I don't know if you remember that I told you my niece committed to Robert Morris University. She was to be a freshman this year. They pulled the plug on her. She's now playing in Mercyhurst. Now I want to ask you how they're going to bring this program back once the money's raised. But we'll do that next time. In 30 seconds, can you tell folks how they can contribute, if you don't mind, and then we'll play the video financially?
Yeah. We're right now. You can go to Give Campus, and it's through all the Twitter links. You see the update, how much money has been raised, how many donors there's been, and then we're working on the chip-in link that will get everything situated in the items up there here shortly in a day. Everything's happening so fast. So your team there, Clark, and everyone has been tremendous with helping putting all this together in a short amount of time. So it's been great. So we'll start there, and we'll take it a day at a time.
Great. And what do people need to know about this video?
It's supposed to rally us. We're down in the, we have 10 days, and we need to rally we're down 500,000 goals now. So we want everyone to buy in and be part of the greatest comeback in Pittsburgh sports history.
Amazing. All right, Bugsy, thanks for this. And guys, let's have a look at the video.
Listen up. This is our town. This is our rink, and those are our fans out there. Yeah!
Flashes one deep to left center.
We can accomplish anything. Let's go, Pittsburgh!
We can accomplish anything! You can buy it too!
Save RMU.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of time. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might hit your head. That could cause a traumatic brain injury that, depending on how severe it is, could take months to heal or leave you with long-term effects. Effects like getting debilitating headaches for the rest of your life. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln.
In the heat of the summer, familiar sounds. Feeling the air, it's the best thing anywhere. Just give me back my game. 'Cause I live for the drama. I live for the emotion. No one can take me down. Bring me back my football.
BetRegal.net, exclusive sports gaming partner of the CFL.
Hey, Matt, how's it going? We have something really special.
Holy. It's pretty impressive. Hey, Rod Squad. Now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show. Official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Welcome back, everybody. Promotional support for the RP Show brought to you by Tough Tribe for Men. It contains aloe vera, botanicals, and antioxidants traditionally known for their scalp and hair benefits. We are part of the clean beauty industry. Welcome to Clean Beauty for Men, available now at toughtribeformen.com and Amazon Canada. Also, it is time for Taco Time Viewer Takeover. Ordering online is available from Taco Time. Try it today and get a free burrito on your first order. Use promo code FREEBURRITO, one word, when you sign up. Hey, very busy morning in sports. I want to mention this. Here in Miami, Manny Diaz was fired as Miami's football coach this morning after a 7-5 regular season, and with the school in deep negotiations to bring Oregon coach Mario Cristobal back to his alma mater to take over. Manny went 21-15 in 3 seasons in Miami, and they have been on his ass here since September at least, listening to Sports Talk Radio. By the way, I would say 90% of Sports Talk Radio here, college football. Unbelievable. More than the NFL, certainly more than the NHL. And speaking of, the Ottawa Senators look for their third consecutive win tonight when they take on the Devils in New Jersey. The Sens are last in the Atlantic Division, while the Devils have lost 3 in a row and 5 of their last 6. Ottawa is the only other Canadian team in action on a light night. In the show, Moose will be back here in hour 2. We'll get way more deep into the viewer comments. But I got a few here. On the bad conditions for the games, the Vanier Cup on Saturday, the West Final Sunday. And it didn't look great in Toronto either, by the way, for the East Final. Dan McCabe texts from the Sweatpants capital. He says, I totally agree with you, Rod. I've been saying this for years and years that the CFL should start the season earlier and the Grey Cup should be played the 3rd week in October. Who wants to screw around with the possibility of snow, wind, ice? It's a no-brainer for me. Of course, with COVID, that screwed everything up. And they were to move the season up this year. Pre-COVID, that was the plan, but only by a couple of weeks. Jamie, watching in Nova Scotia on Game Plus, he says, how was everybody's weekend? Halifax Thunderbirds beat the Rush in an overtime NLL thriller, most likely the game of the year. Last minute of play in hour 1. Jamie goes on to say, not only did Clark beat me in NHL fantasy this past week, the Boltman lost. And with the Riders losing and the Huskies losing in the Vanier Cup, it made for a bummer weekend. On the bright side, the RP Christmas tree will soon be up and will bring cheer to all RP viewers in the coming weeks. Merry Christmas, Jamie. Thank you for that. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, hi, Rod. I think considering all the injuries the Riders had this year, they overachieved getting to the West Final. They gave the Bombers a scare for sure. Listen, let's carry that over into hour 2, okay? And I know the Rider Nation's watching. They want to talk about this. The Bomber Nation 2. We'll talk about what went down in the West Final yesterday, the fan fights and all the rest. Listen, they won the turnover battle 6-2 and still lost the game. Injuries or not, they had to go home thinking they let that one get away. We'll talk about it all next hour after this break here on Game Plus Television.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Don.
Hey, Quinn.
We have a surprise for you.
Oh, my.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games.
Play among legends at betregal.net.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Hey, Matt, how's it going? We have something really special.
Holy, it's pretty impressive.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Do you believe in sports curses? Mike White, who's supposed to be the next big thing with the Jets, goes down in the first quarter, but they're saying there's got to be a curse on the Jets. And our question to you, the viewers, is do you believe in sports curses? Can't make up my mind whether I believe in them or not. Because on one hand, I say the harder you work, the luckier you get. But on the other hand, I'm very spiritual and believe there's a plan and all the rest, so I don't know.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It absolutely is, and we welcome into Hour 2 of the RP Show, everybody, on Game Plus Television and YouTube live streaming around the world. Hour 2 is brought to you by Great Western's Original 16 beer, brewed in Saskatchewan, made with premium Saskatchewan ingredients. Original 16 is unfiltered for peak flavor, and it is Taco Time viewer takeover. All of Hour 2, for the most part, is going to be a Taco Time viewer takeover. Our lone guest on video chat will be Justin Dunk from 3 Down. By the way, Taco Time wants you to know they're not tater tots, they're Mexi fries. They keep hammering away on that as we bring in the Moose, Darren DuPont. And Moose, I appreciate you. I invited all of the Rider Nation to join in. This isn't normally what I would do. It's certainly not my job anymore, but if they want to whine and moan about the playoff road ending in the West Final yesterday, 21-17 in Winnipeg, they can come here and get it all out. But the best team won. The reason I say that is, people are writing in saying, great season for the Riders, blah, blah, getting that from a lot of people. And I'm like, yeah, you should say that as a fan. If you're the Riders, you're kicking yourself on the flight home going 6 turnovers, 6-2, well, all these missed opportunities, you're kicking yourself. If you're the Saskatchewan Roughriders coming home from Winnipeg. Even Cody Fajardo said, and I'm not sure he necessarily meant it in the post-game news conference, but he was like, hey, we went down to the final minute. We had a chance to win it on the last drive. You can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah.
You can ask for a win. And I'm not sure that he necessarily believed that. I'm sure he was more furious than anybody. And on the on the talk of breaking news this morning from the NHL, the Philadelphia Flyers firing Alain Vigneault, he had to go. They're playing terribly, and they've lost 8 in a row. And they play tonight. They got Colorado and Philly tonight. And then last night, the Vancouver Canucks firing their head coach, Travis Green, their GM, Jim Benning. They fired everybody, which they pretty much had to do. And I see everybody writing in. Sorry, I'm running off at the mouth here. But Trent in Norway writes in, says, Norway here. Sad that the Riders and the Huskies lost, but next year awaits all. The Grey Cup rematch should be interesting. Yes, it's Hamilton, Winnipeg. And I think rematches are a great thing for any championship game. That's a great storyline going into the 108th Grey Cup. So anyways, I left everybody hanging. Didn't get your take on the fan brawl. There's not even a brawl. from what we understand, a Hamilton Tiger Cats fan spit beer on Argos players after the East Final yesterday. Chris Edwards came after him, swung a punch at him. We saw that on video. Didn't look like he connected, unfortunately. I wish he had. And other Argos had jumped in to be peacemakers, so I'm sure we haven't heard the last of it. What's your take?
There will be suspensions. That's my take. And fines, probably. Now, here, I did a little homework, okay? Because my first thought was, look, no matter what, and I know, like, sometimes it sucks to just sit there and take it, but as a fan, you have to know that a player that's bigger than you and stronger than you and, isn't going to come into the crowd and start hitting you no matter what you say, because we don't want fans to stop yelling at players. We don't want that, right? We want them to yell. We want them to be upset. We want all of that because that's what makes sports great. We want trash talk, all that stuff. But I think the difference is when you throw something at a player, when you pour a beer on a player, when you hurl something from the stands, the player's kind of off the hook. And that's kind of what we found. So Ron Artest back in 2004 went into the crowd in NBA. He got 55 games. It was the rest of the year without pay. That's probably the biggest. Mike Milbury, when he went in and hit him with the shoe in 79, 6 games. Some of the other guys got 5 games. That's it in the NHL. Sean Ellis was throwing snowballs in the crowd from in Seattle at Seahawks fans. In 2004, he got a $10,000 fine. Rob Ray, remember when he was assaulting the guy on the bench, the fan who came on the ice? Nothing. He got nothing. Completely fine because the fan came into his territory, right? But here's probably the biggest one. Lincoln Kennedy with the Raiders in 99, I think it was on Monday night against Denver. Him and Charles Woodson got in with the fans. The fans were throwing snowballs at the players and like hitting Gruden, hitting the players in the face. Lincoln Kennedy and Woodson. Woodson threw a snowball back, hit a woman in the face. He got charged, which could have had up to $1,000 fine and a year in jail, but it got settled for like nothing. Kennedy went into the crowd and clocked a guy. He got nothing, I believe. I couldn't find any suspension for that. So I think when the fans throw something, when it's instigated that way, the Argo player Chris Edwards is probably off the hook. But there'll be some sort of a fine. You got to control the team.
Boy, you had a lot to say.
The player,
you were waiting 20 minutes to get that all out.
And the fan should probably be suspended too.
I want to get to the viewers here. So they make some really good points, and this is funny. Yeah, from Northside YEG. Do you see it now in the comment wall? Do you see the comments coming in because you're back in the bunker? He says, we got some Ticats fans in the house. Let's go. So we got fans from all across the CFL that are chiming in on this. The Grey Cup matchup, all the rest. I see Jeff, the Stamps fan, says it wasn't a smart thing by Fajardo to say. I don't necessarily that he believes what he said yesterday. I think that's Cody just taking the high road. And so let's just settle it. Hey, everybody loves the fan interaction type. Shoot, every third day on TSN Sports Center, the top 10 is top 10 fan interactions, right? Like we all love talking about it, right? And somebody said here, you see how fast the comments are coming in here like crazy? Yeah, from CD, who's a Ticats fan, CD on YouTube says it's okay, Toronto's running the CFL anyway. Can you blame a Hamilton fan for saying that? You can't. Argo's the only team to go over the salary cap. It's okay, says the commissioner. We won't find them. Stopping short of saying, because it's the Argos and we don't want to piss off their owners.
Right.
Now, to the McLeod Bethel Thompson thing. The guy clearly breaks COVID rules last week. And while we on Friday predicted the CFL would do an about face and let him play, and I said they would, and then you explained how they would, and that's exactly what happened within hours. Again, here's Toronto getting their way. So if you're a Toronto fan, a fan of any other team, but specifically a Hamilton fan, you would start to get a little pissed off about that. And if you were a Toronto player, you'd be saying, I can do whatever the hell I want. You're doing Conor McGregor walking down the field. You're McLeod and Bethel Thompson swatting the camera out of the way because it's in your face. You think you can do whatever the hell you want because the CFL's allowed them to do whatever they want. Let me back up a second, though. I could sit here and do a segment on my own interactions with fans. And having said all that, listen, I'm very big at looking in the mirror. I'm sure I'm at fault in every single one of them. But just from a broadcast standpoint, I can tell you, Edmonton, Commonwealth Stadium, interaction with fan. Did it ever get physical? You've heard about the Taco Bell incident in Portland that night where 7,000 fans pelted me with bells. My fault, I'm sure. Prince George, multiplex, guy stands up in front of me. He goes like, dude, you are the loudest guy that's ever come through here. And I'm like, what's your point? I'm doing my job. Sit down. Vancouver, Pacific Coliseum. Guy comes down and says, would you mind sitting down? Me and my kid can't see past you every time you stand up. I said, dude, there's 12,000 empty seats here. You can move. I can't. Zip it. So I just find it interesting that you can unilaterally rule, Moose, that we should take it all as performers if it's verbal only. But as soon as it gets physical, it's okay to get up and knock their teeth down their throat. Sorry, you're going to get in my face, you're going to get it back. You're going to get it back, and I'm going to tell you that 100% of the time.
And that's what history has kind of shown us, that, if it's verbal, you can't engage physically. If it's words and stuff, I don't think there's an issue engaging back with words. I mean, you want to show restraint in that situation and block it out. But, there was one real interesting one. Brian Maxwell in the NBA, 1995. He was getting chirped, and it was really bad stuff. I think it was about a miscarriage his wife had. It was really not very good at all. And Maxwell got in there, knocked the dude out, broke his jaw in the process. He ended up getting 10 games and a $20,000 fine in the NBA for that. So it was words one way. He got in the crowd, popped him, broke his jaw, knocked him out, and he ended up taking the punishment. So there would be punishment. Now, if you're throwing something or pouring something that instigated it, then I think it's not that it's over okay, but I think there won't be any punishment on Chris Edwards for that. I don't know. It's wild.
Well, it's interesting from the viewers. Mark Zosel watching on YouTube. He's from Melfort, where they do the Melfort Shuffle. Mm-hmm. He says, Rod's top 10 fan interactions. Roll the film. From EGA on YouTube. Has the CFL commissioner, Ambrosi, responded to any of the extracurricular activities? Not yet, but it hasn't even been 24 hours, so hold on. From Nelson Hakowich, our VP of Sim Events, he says, where is the radio booth in the Pacific Coliseum where fans can't see if you're standing? It's right in the middle of the crowd. I know it's very hard for people on the prairies to understand this, but on the West Coast and all those facilities, I don't know why, the press boxes are like right in the middle of the stands. I have no idea why they did that like that. And for 99 out of 100 broadcasters, that's fine. For yours truly, we got a problem. Dan Saravelli writing in from Philadelphia. Dan, the situation, Saravelli writing in from Philadelphia watching on YouTube. He says, remember when the Knicks fans were chanting Kim Kardashian when Chris Humphries was at the foul line? Oh, yeah. Everybody stop and stare. Kardashian's asses everywhere. Who said it?
I don't know.
Headley.
Nice. Well, on the Ty Domi thing, because it's come up a little bit, I looked that one up too. And all I can hear is Harry Neal, watch the lawsuit, Ty, as he's coming into the box.
That's right.
Ty got a $1,000 fine for squirting water. That's it. $1,000. And away he went, no suspension or anything like that. So,
my cousin Christine watching in Medicine Hat. She says, what good are rules if they're not followed? Listen, I agree, brah. I do. And I think when we're talking about CFL things here, and let me preface this by saying, because everybody hears the bad that I say, they very rarely hear the good. I said a wonderful spectacle on TSN yesterday, which I watched at Outback Steakhouse in here. Shout out, Debbie. Thanks for the invite. VIP invite to their grand opening. They put the game on television at Outback Steakhouse in Lighthouse Point, Florida. And our server, Matt, said, I didn't know Canadian even had a football league.
They're going to want an expansion team after you get through there and show them the league.
Right. I want them to have an expansion team for the National Lacrosse League down here. That's what I want. But anyways, I'll say it again. It looked great. The stands were full in both venues. The games were pretty good in both venues. Sloppy, but the weather was bad. It was Canadiana. It was everything that you want. And it was just like when I go to Arizona in the wintertime, when I hook up with my American friends there, and they're like, that referee, Prulks, is he real? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Turd down. That's me saying how great it looked on Sunday. Here's me on the other. Probably any other league, they don't bend the rules like the CFL did on Friday. I'm not sure Roger Goodell's bending the rules, but I mean, the NFL wouldn't have done something so stupid in the first place. So I knew the CFL would bend the rules and let McLeod Bethel Thompson play because that's what the CFL does. Like on Friday, sorry to throw you under the bus, Clark, but beep, beep. Clark's like, oh, he's out. Remember on that call? He's like, he's out. I'm like, no, he's not. They'll find a way. And who played? McLeod Bethel Thompson.
Bingo!
Do you think any other league, Darren, that happens, honestly?
I don't know. I'd like to think so, because I think it was the right thing to do. You know, and I think if it was the NFL, I would say, look, they should do the same thing. But it just feels like they wouldn't have got to that point, right? You would have every protocol locked down, and they would all know where they're allowed to go and where they're not allowed to go, you know? But again, this kind of thing happens at every level of sports all the time. You and I have been into organizations at every level, and at their core, they all kind of operate the same, right? But it just wouldn't have been as big of a crazy, spit show as we kind of, saw on Friday afternoon. Like, that's just insane.
Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, says, as we are in full-on Taco Time viewer takeover here, he says, we can't even get games on at the Canadian Brew House here, and you can get it during an NFL Sunday in Florida. All caps. Well, stick with me sometime, and you'll see how.
Yeah.
I think they call it influence, right, Moose?
That's right.
From Janice V, watching on YouTube, she says, hoping someone challenges Randy Ambrosie at the State of the League address on Friday morning about the inconsistent and favoritism shown by the league office. Hashtag Stamps fan in YEG. Chris Bird, watching in King City, Ontario, says the CFL's COVID rule should have been modified weeks ago. Yeah, but it wasn't.
And that's why we have leaders. But it wasn't. That's why we have leaders, though. Not, in this situation, you're able to make the right decision. So leaders, can look at the rules and understand the intent and make, decisions on the fly a little bit. You don't want to have that consistently, but that's why we put people in place. And they did get it right. I think they got it right.
Yeah, they did, which I predicted. And is there a bigger Randy Ambrosie fan than me?
Yeah.
Or a pure ambassador for the sport. But when I saw the statement where Randy deferred to the medical panel, he's like, well, these guys are saying it's okay to do this. I'm like, no, Rand, no. You and I talked about that this morning on the phone. I'm like, Randy, stop. Can you just stand up and say, this is what we're doing because I said so? I hated the fact that he deferred to the medical committee. Maybe they did make the choice. Why? Just say it's you. It reminds me of Kelly McCrimmon.
It's the right thing to do.
Or whatever. It was the presentation of it. Perception's a big thing. It's like Kelly McCrimmon when he fired Gerard Gallant, the head coach of the Golden Knights, and everybody in Vegas was going nuts in the Knights Nation. And Kelly stood there and goes, you want to know whose decision it was? Blame me. It was my decision to fire Gerard Gallant. If you want to blame somebody, blame me. That's what I would have liked to have seen. Oh, by the way, Tacona Pally watching in Winnipeg says, Rod, have I missed your Bama talk and John Mechie out for the season? You did. We talked Alabama Crimson Tide college football playoff last hour, a little less than an hour ago. And they can win without John Mechie III. Bryce Young might be the best quarterback they've ever had at Alabama. And that is saying a lot.
Going to win the Heisman.
That is saying a lot. Yes. The best ever. Anyways, we'll continue this when we come back. It's fun today. It's spicy. I told you it was going to be spicy. Hour 2 is brought to you by Original 16 Great Western Beer. You're watching on the Game Plus television network, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Spicy! Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
I started the Shatler Lacrosse Academy 3 years ago, and my main goal for the province of Saskatchewan was to spread the game and the awareness of lacrosse. Jeff Shatler here, number 77 with the Saskatchewan Rush. I currently play forward, 16 years pro. I live, work, and play in the province of Saskatchewan. Direct West's mission is to grow Saskatchewan economy by helping small local businesses win with digital advertising services, but they are also a major supporter of local sport, art, and charitable organizations. Year after year, Direct West continues to put their money where their mouth is, and ensuring the minor sports and art and music festivals can continue to thrive in our province. They continue to do all they can to promote our communities and assist nonprofit charitable organizations in the effort to improve the quality of life in the province of Saskatchewan. I'm proud to work with Direct West and call the province of Saskatchewan my home.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might hit your head. That could cause a traumatic brain injury that, depending on how severe it is, could take months to heal or leave you with long-term effects. Effects like getting debilitating headaches for the rest of your life. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
Canada's daytime sports talk show continues. It's hour 2, proudly presented by Great Western's Original 16 beer. This is why you love daytime sports talk, because there's a lot of stuff going down today, and I might as well jump into it right now. A quick sports update. Just because this is what's been crammed into my head, and because it's been crammed into my head, it's going to be crammed into your head. And how fast things move. For Mario Cristobal, the road has always led back to Miami, and once again, he's coming home. Cristobal is leaving Oregon and returning to the Miami Hurricanes, accepting an offer to become the head coach at his alma mater, where he won 2 national championships as a player. He let the Ducks know the decision this morning. His team meeting in Oregon nearly simultaneous to the other part of the move, that being Miami announcing the firing of coach Manny Diaz after 3 seasons. That all went down this morning, and I'm telling you again, you can bring the Moose in. 90% of the talk on Sports Talk Radio here is college football. This is in the teeth of the NFL season. Don't even get me started on the NHL and the Panthers. I don't know if they'll ever be in front and center, Moose. I don't know. Marlins, forget it. Just stop. And the Heat, just a casual mention that they're playing tonight. The rest is all college football. But here's one that if my brother's listening will perk up. Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit collapsed and died at a workout this morning in Santa Anita. Do you remember that name? Medina Spirit?
Yes,
won
I
the
do.
Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
The 3-year-old colt, trained by Bob Baffert, had just completed 5 furlongs in his second workout since finishing second in the Breeders' Cup a month ago at Del Mar. Baffert, the trainer, said in a statement that the horse suffered a heart attack, but he's not using any performance-enhancing drugs. Right? Now it's happening to horses.
Wild.
The Philadelphia Flyers fired head coach Alain Vigneault this morning following 8 straight losses, 2 shy of matching a team record. The Flyers have been one of the NHL's biggest flops of the season. They lost last night 7-1 to Tampa. That sealed their fate. Vigneault's AV's fate anyways. Assistant coach Michel Therrien was also fired. General manager Chuck Fletcher saying, quote, "Right now, we've lost our way." Mike Yeo has been named interim head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers. They play tonight against Colorado, and the Canucks play tonight too. They got the Kings in town. Canucks firing coach Travis Green last night and general manager Jim Benning. And Bruce Boudreau is now in charge of the Vancouver Canucks. We haven't spent as much time talking hockey. I promise tomorrow we will, okay, because the viewers have been screaming for it. The sports update for dubnetwork.ca, your number one source for Western Hockey League breaking news and analysis. Visit today, dubnetwork.ca. And for Ben Cahoon's G2G protein bars, order yours now at g2gbars.ca. RP Show viewers get 20% off with the promo code RP Show. Lori is an Argo fan, and she says, she's watching on YouTube, she says, "I'm trying to understand how Lucas Purifoy getting into an altercation at a restaurant where he went out on his own is not getting folks riled up the same way as the McLeod MLSC sanctioned situation." Yeah. And by the way, if you watched the West final yesterday, Lucas Purifoy had a hell of a football game for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And this is what I was thinking, by the way. Can you imagine the uproar had the Riders won from the Bomber Nation? Because it was not a catch on that last drive. It was not a catch by Duke Williams. Stop it. But the replay booth ruled in favor of Saskatchewan. Argos game. Macbeth's allowed to play. They changed the rules for him, the Argos quarterback. And then that Tundi Adeliki interception, he clearly had a foot in the back of the end zone, and they ruled that he didn't have control. Come on! But in the end, Hamilton and Winnipeg won. Their teams that were supposedly screwed, so nobody's making a big deal out of it today. Can you imagine if that was not the case?
I know. That's all we'd be talking about today is just how they got jobbed. And it's just, no, that's how the games go a little bit. But yeah, like, if your team wins, that seems to cover up a lot of problems, right? A lot of controversies, a lot of issues like that. But yeah, we'd be talking about that for sure.
Winning is a great perfume, as they say. From Jason and Red Deer, the Puck and Pigskin podcast, he says, "Word is the Vancouver Canucks were privy to the Flyers wanting to pursue Boudreau after firing their coach, forcing the Canucks' hand to move swiftly to get him first." Isn't that funny how it works? Boudreau's agent called me in the middle of the week, and I didn't actually call him back. I should have. Now, looking back, I'm wondering what he wanted. It magically leaked that Philly was talking to Bruce Boudreau. People had any idea how this stuff goes down. Hey, Moose.
Oh, I know.
Big Wildcat watching on YouTube Canadian Bowl. Langley Rams won. I would point you in the direction of the wonderful website, rodpedersen.com, twice voted Canada's blog of the year, where in the column Out of the Tunnel, there's a breakdown of the Canadian Junior Football Championship and the Vanier Cup, the University Championship, and, of course, the division finals. And Craig Warden, watching on YouTube, Craig Warden says, I took a trip to watch the Flames play the Panthers in 2007, and it was amazing. Sunrise fans were the best. They really are. Good people. They're fell in the barn to watch the number one team in the NHL. What magical timing it's been for me to come down here and cover the Florida Panthers and just be treated like absolute gold at the game. But I'll tell you a funny story, Moose, and you enjoyed this one this morning in our morning chat when I said I left the game early, the Blues and the Panthers on Saturday. I left early to go home and watch the Vanier Cup because my best friend's kid was quarterbacking the Saskatchewan Huskies. And later that day, I was in a practice rink. It's called the Rink on the Beach, 2 ice pad just down the road here. And the dads at the game are like, how about the comeback by the Panthers? How about it? They came back and beat the Blues. I'm like, really? I left the game early. They're like, you did what? I didn't stay for the end of the game. I had to go watch my buddy's kid in the Vanier Cup, the Canadian Championship. And they were just, why would you do that? So they're getting on to the quirks. That is the host of this show. Moose, you're used to this.
Of course. Of course. You know, how can you be in 3 or 4 places at once? This is how, right? You got to find a way to get everything in. We have a lot of likes. We have a lot of interests. We have a lot of things we want to do. So this is how we do it. It's why we love the buffet so much, right?
Golden Corral of Sports Talk. A little bit of everything for everybody.
Right on.
Vince, watching on YouTube, says, I haven't been watching all the shows, but the other issue is that weird reviewed catch by Saskatchewan that definitely touched the turf. If Winnipeg had lost? Well, again, did you just log in, Vince? We just talked about it. In what world was that a good catch by Saskatchewan receiver Duke Williams? Listen, I wasn't cheering for the Riders, okay? I got friends on both teams. So I'm watching it from, as I like to say, from 30,000 feet. I had a referee supervisor told me once that if you sat 10 people down and showed them one video clip, they would come away with 10 different interpretations of it. Have we not talked about that on this show, Moose? I'm sure I've brought that up before.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So if you really wanted Saskatchewan to win, you really would have believed that was a good catch, subconsciously. And when they ruled that it was a catch, after how many times did they review that on this big screen at IG Field? Did you hear the crowd boo? I thought the walls were going to come down on Winnipeg. That was a bad call.
Yeah.
Botched.
I get it. Like, I don't know. Sometimes you just wonder, how can that call be made? That's why we have video replay and multiple angles. And we all see it. You're not watching the same thing we're watching, but sometimes they've got their own reasons, and we don't get to hear them. Conclusive evidence,
no, it's
not conclusive.
I don't think it's that. Oh my God, there's nothing I hate worse than the officiating and the calls discussion. I hate it. I can't stand it. I loathe it. But it's become such a big part of what we do every day in sports. We have to talk about it. And the thing that really bothered me the most, of many, Vince just said, sorry, yep, just logged in. Well, Vince, glad to have you. Was the multiple times in games that I was broadcasting for the Rough Riders where the Riders were clearly screwed. Clearly. The one that comes to mind most was 2017 East Final in Toronto, Argos Riders, where Kevin Glenn got clipped like clothesline in the fourth quarter. They took his head off, and there was no flag. And I immediately grabbed my phone and tweeted, oh, clearly the CFL wants the Argos to be in the Grey Cup. The avalanche of vitriol that I got from CFL fans calling me the conspiracy theorist was the nicest thing that they called me. And then there was a game in Edmonton a few years before that Glenn Johnson was officiating, which quite frankly, I'm not the biggest Glenn Johnson fan. As a referee, personally, no problem with it. Referee, big problem. And I'm like, same thing. I can't remember who the Rider quarterback was. It might have been KG. But he had his head taken off in that game too. And Glenn Johnson's standing there looking at it. And I'm waiting for him to reach back and grab his flag. He doesn't even move. And I'm like, you just saw it with your own eyes. There's no clearer. You clearly don't want the Riders to win. These were critical stages in the fourth quarter. And the thing that bothered me the most was 3 years ago when I got out of that Rider job was the people in the league that came to me and said, Rod, you were right. You were right. And I'm like, why? Where were you? They leave you to burn at the stake. Anyway, and then you wonder why I have the attitude in life that I have right now. Anyways, Jack, watching in Vulcan, Alberta, says, Rod, what's the point of Command Center video review? It was obviously not a catch. And I will say, do you want me to answer that? I have no idea why. And it's not just the CFL, man. We see it in the NFL, see it in the NHL, all the leagues that we love and watch. They're getting the call wrong even after video review. Anyways, sorry. I'm just reading these comments. I'm getting a little wound up here.
Oh no.
Okay, Northside YEG writes in, says, ever win a cup? That's a hard no, but he should still be in the Hall of Fame. And before I let you go, Moose, I'll bring you back for overtime. Northside YEG watching in Edmonton says, who does the CFL want to win the Grey Cup? To be perfectly honest with you, I'll tell you. Well, I would have said the Hamilton. Now, in this matchup, they want the Hamilton Tiger Cats to win. You know why? Because Bob Young has lost so much money. They look at it and go, you know what? Winnipeg's fine. They won the last Grey Cup. They're going to make money anyways. They're a community-owned team. Bob Young. Bob's our uncle. Let's give him a cup.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I agree. You don't need to, there's not a lot of advantages to having a team win back-to-back. Gauge more fan bases, too. The more teams that can win. If it was up to the CFL, it'd probably go on a rotation, 9 different winners in 9 different years.
Every league would.
Every league would.
And by the way, I'm not accusing the CFL of fixing anything. I'm honestly not.
No.
And I legitimately don't believe that they will. But subconsciously, you just watch the game Sunday. You just watch and see where the calls go. Okay?
Spicy.
All right, Moose. I'll see you for overtime, okay?
See you then.
Okay. Justin Dunk in next. It is Canada's daytime sports talk show. We'll be right back. You're watching on the Game Plus Television Network, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
In the heat of the summer, familiar sounds, feeling the air. It's the best thing anywhere. Just give me back my game. 'Cause I live for the drama. I live for the emotion. No one can take me down. Bring me back my football.
BetRegal.net, exclusive sports gaming partner of the CFL.
Comfort has always been something we as people strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Does this look familiar?
Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
It's a spicy one, as predicted. Just ahead of Justin Dunk, Caesar writes in on the 902 text line. He says, the CFL roughing is an absolute joke. That was not a catch. And it's ridiculous that everybody knows that, but the CFL review booth. But hey, they bent the rules to allow a player that could have waited 2 weeks to watch a basketball game, listening at the tap while having lunch. Thank you, Caesar, for checking in. By the way, Rockstar of the Day on Friday for Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions was Rennie Bassett. He's the guy that won our BetRegal.net. There you go. BetRegal.net. Build your bank challenge. He won it betting on, what do you say, CFL, NFL, and junior hockey and golf. Rennie Bassett was our Rockstar of the Day for Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions. And I have a feeling our next guest will be today's 3downnation.com's Justin Dunk. And we got a long ways to go. Not a lot of time to get there, JD. So let's jump right into it. Nice shirt, by the way. You love those Rainbow Warriors, huh? Yeah.
Dig them. Go Warriors.
Really enjoyed your call to the Vanier Cup on Saturday. Did not enjoy the ending at all, but the best team won, the Western Mustangs over the Saskatchewan Huskies, 27-21. You did great. I loved it. I watched it while at the Panthers hockey game. Was it as cold as it looked? And did the best team win in your mind?
It wasn't in the booth, and honestly, I think once the players got moving around, it was fine. There were some guys in short sleeves, and to be honest, that display of Canadian university football is one that should be celebrated. High caliber, and yes, the Huskies didn't necessarily show up, especially in the second half like we all thought they would. It was still two ultra-talented teams, student athletes going at it on the field. The way the Canadian university football is meant to be played, it was a real hotly contested game, especially in the first half, and a tight ball game and well played overall.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I didn't like the track, but it had to be played in December, I understand, because of COVID. So bravo to everybody, yourself included in there, because I really enjoyed the broadcast on the CBC. So quite the wild 72 hours in the CFL. Take us through your angle from Friday to Sunday, the Macbeth thing, the calls, the fight after the game in Toronto. At least they're talking about the CFL, Justin.
That's right. The publicity stunt worked to a degree. I started getting texts and calls naturally on Thursday night from people around the league going, hey, McLeod Bethel-Thompson at the Raptors game is a violation of our protocols. And then, sure enough, there was the drama there. The CFL ruled, hey, you just quarantine as long as there is between now until kickoff for the East Final. Then you can play, providing you have negative COVID tests. So that happens. The Argos are up in the first half, Roddy, and it looks like they were about to put the Ticats 21 season to bed, right? They look done and finished. Then Pappy White returns a punt, flips the Argos on their head, and the Ticats are going to the Grey Cup at home. And then afterwards, there's a lot of stuff coming out about what happened in the stands and with fans and player personnel, especially from the Argos. So that'll be sorted out by the police and MLSC and the team, it sounds like. And there could be some discipline and perhaps some charges because there was some trespassing involved in that situation.
Yeah, and then just to the West Final, man, you obviously watched it. The Bombers, come on, let's be honest. They did their best to give it away. They really did. Losing the turnover battle 6-2. I guess as their Hall of Fame broadcaster, Bob Irving, tweeted, tells you how good they are that you could do that and still win.
And it tells you how elite the defense is. 6 turnovers. The defense still only gives up 17 points. And, a lot of people out there in Riderland, Roddy, especially in the media, I'm going to call some people out here. They're feeling sorry for the Riders and saying, hey, they played a really good game and they tried really hard. 6 turnovers and you can't win a playoff game and you lose to your rivals in the Prairies and the Blue Bombers for a 3rd straight year, this time in their barn. The other 2 were in Saskatchewan. We got to get out of this thinking for the Riders regime. I understand Cody Fajardo is beloved out there, and that's part of the charm. And I agree with a lot of those people's sentiments. But when you get 6 turnovers in a playoff football game, you have to come out winners. In my mind, it should be Saskatchewan that is in the Grey Cup. It's not, and that is in large part, as I mentioned, due to that Blue Bombers defense. But the Riders, they got to be smarting and kicking themselves in the butt after that loss.
The term I used was inexcusable, Justin. We've been around this league a long time. This game, one turnover in a playoff game can change the game. You won by +4, and you couldn't score more than 20 points and win the game. It's inexcusable. Listen, back up the truck. You think that I missed, you said the publicity stunt worked? You trying to tell me this was cooked up by the Argos to get, or the CFL? Come on.
I don't think we can give them that much credit, but it certainly drew attention, although it didn't work in terms of the amount of fans in the stands, right? The Argos were hyping this up, saying this was going to be the largest crowd potentially ever that they had at BMO Field since they moved there, and there was 16,000 and change. So that clearly didn't work out, and you can't use the weather as an excuse because let me tell you, going from Quebec City then to being in the GTA for that East Final, it was a totally different situation. It was balmy. The weather was ideal, especially if you're going to be out there playing football in December.
Yeah, fair enough. But I watched the game from an Outback Steakhouse here. It was their grand opening. It was awesome. And it looked great on television. I got to give TSN a lot of credit for that. And the game was good. It didn't disappoint. But we moved to the Grey Cup week now in Hamilton. And what's your week going to be like covering it? And maybe we'll get you on later this week for a prediction, unless you want to give one now. This is where the CFL needs to shine, and they generally always do.
That's right. Generally, Grey Cup goes really well for the league overall. We'll be doing stuff for CHCH, Sportsnet with my boy Arash Madani, and the one and only Eddie Steele, and also obviously a bunch of coverage on 3 Down Nation. So I really expect Hamilton to put on a show. They've been looking forward to this Grey Cup, albeit there's going to be the COVID-19 restrictions that aren't going to make it a true Grey Cup. But Bob Young has been waiting for this for a number of years. He wants to cash in, of course, as much as possible, but he also wants to showcase the city and the stadium and everything that's positive within Hamilton. For the people that aren't from the area that might be traveling in, Hamilton is really up and coming. It's getting reborn, I would say. A lot of the areas that people might look on and say, hey, maybe I didn't want to live there before. People are moving to the city in droves. Real estate's going up there. So a lot of positives in and around the city. And you talk about they're going to host the Grey Cup, of course, this weekend. Canada Soccer is going to play the U.S. men's soccer team. And then there's going to be an outdoor classic there in 2022 for the NHL. So they're talking about it being a sports town there. And really a large part of that is because Bob Young was so impactful in getting Tim Hortons Field built.
Yes. And like I said, I think people were asking who I thought the CFL wanted to win. And maybe you saw that I said the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but I don't think they're going to pull any levers for that to happen. However, if you see Zach Caleros at a Leaf game on the weekend, we'll see. You want to make a prediction or do you want to wait?
I want to wait. I want to see how the week goes because to me, the most interesting part of this, Roddy, is in 2019, the Grey Cup, you have the heavily favored Tiger Cats who were barely beaten. Going into that game, they get upset by the underdog Blue Bombers. To me, the roles are reversed here, obviously, right? The Blue Bombers come in, they're going to be heavily favored. The Ticats were sort of a middling team. It's not quite as good as that Bombers team was in comparison in 2019, but they're going to be the underdogs. And yes, they're at home, and that can charge up some energy, but I'm really curious to see how the opening quarter goes to this football game, because it was disaster for the Ticats last time around in Calgary. They need to compose themselves, can't afford to turn the football over. I just want to get a feel for the teams. I'll make a prediction later in the week.
You got it. Hey, wonderful update, Justin. Enjoy the week and keep up the great work. I mean it. I love the Vanier Cup. Thanks for the time.
Yes, sir, Roddy. Appreciate you. Stay warm down there, eh?
You bet. 27 today. Just a little rain. Pray for me. 3Down Nation, 3downnation.com's CFL Insider Justin Dunk. When we come back, overtime with the Moose, Taco Time viewer takeover. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube live streaming, and 24-hour sports radio at Rod Pedersen Dunk.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might sprain your wrist, or even fracture it. A severe wrist fracture can take at least 2 months to heal properly. And it can cause you to develop arthritis that keeps you from doing something as simple as picking up your child without pain. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorkSafeSask.ca.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. It makes individuals and the people who love them feel powerless. But the good news is that addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery, with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center. Recovery for life. Visit aurorarecoverycenter.com for more information today.
Hey, Dawn.
Hey, Quinn.
We have a surprise for you.
Oh, my.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
It is overtime. Proudly brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the UFC, the National Hockey League, and the Seattle Kraken Fan Club. And we bring the Moose in here as we also lay into Taco Time viewer takeover here. Bob Smith is watching on Game Plus television in Maple Ridge, BC, Darren, and he says, hey, RP, the Toronto police charged the Hamilton fan. Signed Bob Smith in Maple Ridge, BC. And that's, yeah, I hope we've heard the end of it. I don't know if we have or not. I hope that the Argos players are not. I mean, I didn't see the whole thing. I saw what I saw on video, but it looks like the Hamilton fan instigated everything, and I'm always pro-player, pro-entertainer in these instances. Norm Fong's watching, the Hall of Fame equipment manager of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, regarding the comment, rules are, why do we have rules at all? Fongo says, Rod, seems like rules are made to be broken. The Riders only apply their code of conduct rule depending on who's involved and how important the next game is. Example, player spends the night in the drunk holding cell and gets no team penalty. Signed, Norm Fong. And regarding the call that went the Riders' way in the West Final yesterday from Metal Shingle Guy, he says, I think the rule is the ground can help with the catch if you have control of the ball before it touches. I think you're reaching on that one. But it's interesting. I mean, you've been traveling all over God's green earth, Moose. I don't know how much social media surfing you've been doing or not, but I see people writing in here about Andrew Harris and his PED suspension from two years ago, but they conveniently don't talk about the Purifoy thing or AC Leonard, but the Bombers fans have brought up AC Leonard.
Yeah.
I guess that's just usual back and forth post-game stuff, right? Stuff we shouldn't pay any attention to. Right.
Typical stuff, right? Throwing mud back and forth, and it's post-game trash talk, pulling at threads, trying to find something that sticks. But you're upset your team lost, or you want to be happy your team won and rub it in a little bit. So, no, stuff that I don't pay attention to.
I got more. I just hit refresh on the text line. There's a bunch more. Man, you came up with this 902 number, man. You really knew what you were doing. Doesn't it look dark here, by the way?
I was going to say.
Does it look like night?
I mean, what? It's almost, 2 o'clock?
1:55. Darren, it is 27 Celsius, 81 Fahrenheit, but overcast. Pray for me. Might have to put a jacket on this afternoon. Anyways,
how about that?
I'll get to more of these texts in a moment, but you have something from our friends at Tough Tribe, I understand. The guys were telling me that you wanted to show.
Well, check it out. I was telling you about this. I didn't unbox it yet, but we got me on the full screen here. I don't wait a lot of time. I got to move fast. They sent us some gifts. Tough Tribe. This is looks like shampoo, peppermint body wash. How about that? You're going to smell like peppermint. So they got one here for each of us. They got a few more things. This is what you call, what did you say? Pomade, Rod? This is your
I thought it was pomade. I thought it was pomade. What is it, Clark? You know.
Pomade. Pomade. So you got some hair stuff. You're gonna look sharp. And so a few other things in here. There you go. From Tough Tribe. So great stuff, and that's what we're giving away.
ToughTribeForMen.com. They say this stuff is just a wizardry.
Yeah.
Of, what do you call it, male cosmetics?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's
Beard
that?
and hair pomade. So I can put this in the mustache. How about that?
I like it.
Okay. I can't wait to try it out. Back to the text line, the 902-518-3033. A lot of Rider fans checking in today. Greg in Saskatoon says, hey, Rod and Justin, besides the offensive line, what are 2 areas the Riders need to upgrade to contend for the Cup next year? That's a really good question. Didn't they not lead the CFL in sacks this year? They found a lot of guys that we didn't know who they were. I mean, we knew who AC Leonard was, led the CFL in sacks, but they had some, as they say, bitches on that D line. The offensive line, I thought, performed very capably. You got Brendan Labatt pull the pin just before camp. You had that huge American tackle whose knees gave out just before camp. A lot of things didn't really go the Riders' way. Listen, I get at 9-5, it was a great year. and they have nothing to hold their heads about. However, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers did give them the game yesterday. I'd like to see them be a lot more physical. Brett Lowther's going to want to be checking himself. Obviously, he was the MVP of the team on special teams, so he's not a problem. But, I mean, you can't be missing points. Again, what do they need? They don't need a lot. They got a great back. They got a great quarterback. They got a pretty good receiving core. Linebacking core probably could use some work. Dion Lacey was outstanding, but he's like the only guy I can think of in that group. Secondary, Ed Gainey was a beast yesterday. He was playing like he wanted to win a Grey Cup yesterday.
Yeah.
But I don't think the Riders need a whole lot. They need to play a little more physical and some mental things. They took 60 yards in penalties yesterday. Not as much as normal, but more than you'd like. I don't think they need a lot. But answer, 1 minute. Last minute of play in the RP show.
The answer is not a change at quarterback for the Riders. Cody Fajardo, I believe, is the right guy. I think he's the right leader. I think he's got the talent. And whether he had a little bit of an off year or not, I think he's the guy you want to build around. You need to have figure out who your playmakers are going to be. You're going to have a full off season with them, a full year with them. I think they'll be fine. I think they're going to, be ready to come back and have a good year. But too many guys in and out, injuries they dealt with. Cody is the guy, though.
Yeah, I agree. From Jim Wagner on the 902 line. Great show, guys. See you in 22 hours. Have a good night, y'all. Brady says, hey, Rod, Riders offense beat themselves in the foot yesterday. Hopefully the Ticats can pull it off. I hate cocky teams. They're just getting into it. You'll all have to wait until tomorrow. We'll do it all over again at noon Eastern right here on Game Plus.
Are we brainless?
Yes.
Yes.
Bob's your uncle. LFG. Bingo. Right on. Let's go. Approved. Awesome. Spicy. Oh, good one, Rod. Oh, no. How about that? I like it.